Well, and it's starting. Um, it's just not getting to the screen that I want it to be on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's giving me the login, and I'm making the login, and then the Ubuntu Studio. Okay, now it's working fine. So yay!
Hey.
All I have to do is tell you I don't know what the problem is. Start describing the problem, and then the problem stops happening.
That's sort of what happened whenever I was, whenever I worked in IT and people called me over to see what was wrong with their system. It just magically fixed itself by the time I got there and they showed me what was going on.
It's also telling me there are updates available. Which that is okay.
83 degrees here. It's pretty warm, and yet I'm still drinking hot coffee. The guy at the Cafe Vita was surprised that I want to drink hot coffee. I haven't gotten into
GudeLaurance!
iced coffee. Paul Goody, I haven't gotten into iced coffee yet. I don't think I ever will.
We jumped into when Ben was talking about hot coffee. Ben, again, this is a perfect thing to mention that you and I, if we had to split things down the middle, lots of times there are some things that I would take and you would take them to be fine. In this case, you can have all the hot coffee, I'll take all the iced coffee, and that would be great.
Right on.
Because I like iced coffee. I think it's good.
Well, I was telling that story because
I like the taste.
I'd started streaming once you connected, and so that was bonus content for those who have tuned in.
Yeah. And so let's cut right to the chase, Ben. It's time for me to quiz you regarding, has Paul talked about this in the last episode? And there's a reason for it. Was I complaining about my neck or my arm hurting from during the last podcast?
Yes.
I mentioned that I was
sleeping
on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was sleeping on that wedge, and had I said I've started sleeping on the wedge?
I don't remember that.
Like,
detail.
had I just that changed? Okay.
You had slept on it
I'm trying to figure
long
out
enough that you've slept on it long enough that you notice a trend that you hurt when you wake up.
Yes. So, and it had happened in the past as well. So I think that that's what it is. I think that I probably started sometime within the last 2 weeks. Because today is the first time that it's feeling better. It's feeling better today.
And you're still sleeping on it?
And it hasn't felt better. Yeah. It said that it should go away in like a week or two.
It said so. This is a disclaimer that came with the wedge. By the way, you might not.
Just all the online. All the online stuff of, hey, I've got this wedge that my neck hurts. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's normal. It'll start hurting for a while, and then it'll go away again.
Then you get used to it.
So, seems to be correct, yeah.
Is the pain gone, or do I just have become accustomed to it so much I no longer feel it?
Right. It is a little bit still there. It's on this side, too. It's on the side that, by the way, I normally sleep on.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe my arm is just like wedged. Last night, I specifically turned to the other side during the night. So maybe that's part of it.
One of some of the most severe neck and shoulder pain I experienced was on a trip to Las Vegas with some friends of ours, and there was 3 of us sharing a bed, a single room. There were 2 full-size beds and a cot, and we were going to rotate who got the bed, who got the cot. The first night, I slept in one of the beds, and I woke up with this horrible neck. Like I was stuck like this. It hurt so much.
Wow, yeah.
And I couldn't do anything without. I couldn't turn my head without being in severe pain. I slept on Whoa, that was weird. I slept on
Yeah.
the cot the following night. Woke up feeling fine.
So did you take the cot the next night too and
I
say?
think I offered to sleep on the cot for the third night as well.
So you said our friends. So these are people that I
People
know.
that you would know, yeah.
So what happened is in the night they purposefully, like, you're a heavy sleeper. I don't know if this is true, and they purposely
They
went to go. Oh
sabotaged
man,
me,
Ben,
yeah.
that bed. Ugh, ugh.
You should try the cot. It
But
might make you feel better.
I will say this: one of the things I don't like about going on vacations is I don't like switching where I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Um, when I end up going to Chicago for this house hunting tour, I'm planning on bringing my wedge pillow with me so that I can, use it as normal.
There's a
Apparently,
It looks like I'm paying attention to something else, and I kind of actually am. They're doing some demolition renovation on the third floor,
oh,
and it got so crazy it felt like they were going to break through. And I think what they were doing was ripping up the carpet and sanding, and there's actually some debris that came into the lounge. And I just heard loud voices, and I was wondering if they needed to get access to the space, but
I just want to make sure you're the. Oh, I heard that. I heard that thump.
yeah, you'll probably
Um,
hear stuff. They're not actually.
so you're
They're
saying
not,
it's happening on the third floor. You're on the second floor.
yeah, it's right above us, and
Yeah.
so like it's not here. Today they're working in what is above our lounge, but even if they were above me right now, we insulated this part of the theater, and so it wouldn't be as loud. But the lounge and the green room don't have the insulation. It makes me laugh too because it's like it is so loud. Like they're using like a sawzall. I think they're demoing some walls,
Wow.
and I know it's different because this is like the building manager. And not like a company, but every time we use the bandsaw in the elevator, whoever is working in the third floor comes down and tells us to be quiet.
One of the things that I really liked, I thought was funny in the low voltage electronic business, is there's some crossover with the term. Not a lot, but some crossover. When you're going to demo something,
Right.
9 times out of 10, it means that you're going to, pull it out and
Demolish.
You're ripping all of the wiring out. You demo something, but sometimes if you're installing something like a speaker system,
You
you
want
have to demo it
Yeah.
for the customer. And I've never run into a situation where that has been mistaken,
Right.
like one mistaken for the other. But I think it could happen.
Context is key.
And I think it would be
Hey,
hilarious.
new guy, we need you to go over there and demo that speaker system. Okay, boss.
All right, boss, I do it. So, oh yeah, I think we might have talked about this. The idea that there's no gender neutral term for boss. I did it backwards. There's no gender neutral term for sir or ma'am.
Right.
I think boss. Okay, boss. Yeah, boss. Is okay. I was discussing with Jennifer. Chef. Chef means chief in French, or boss in French. So jefe. I think boss.
I default to friend. If I need a gender neutral term for you, I use friend.
Oh, thanks, man. No, but I feel like my gender neutral term for a bunch of people is folks.
Yeah.
That's back from GudeLaurance. Hey, folks.
Yeah. Or y'all.
That's what we would do. Yeah, y'all is good as well. I feel like folks, FOLX. I understand why some people are. It really is using folks like the regular folks, like you would normally use it, but also saying, also I care about people. I'm saying it so that you know that
If
I'm choosing to be inclusive
yeah, it does feel more
by spelling it with the X.
it does feel more inclusive that way. For whatever reason.
But the thing is that there are some people that, for whatever reason, hate including other people, and so they're like, I can't stand it. And one of those people, Jennifer Pratt. I'm kidding, Jennifer. You don't listen to this. No, she hates when I call people folks. I think. I don't know what exactly.
Hey, folks.
Oh, this is the kind of thing that she mentioned. Character assassinate. All that I know is I say I use folks, and then she said folks in a really. Maybe I'll.
Are we live live fact checking here?
I think I might want to live fact check her so that I'm not disparaging her.
I have gotten to the point. I'm still working on it. Like, I'm not perfect. I was addressing a group of people because I was telling them that the house was open, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the house is now open." And I immediately felt bad. I didn't like apologize or correct myself. I just let the moment pass. But like, there was a part of me that held on to that. What I felt a mistake addressing a diverse group of people who are our audience members as the binary.
You know, I feel like I'm feeling like there's an issue that's going on. So Erika Ishii, one of the members of Worlds Beyond Number, which is a role-playing collective.
Okay.
She's doing a voice of one of the protagonists in the new Dragon Age thing. Oh, I did it again. Erika Ishii.
They're doing a new voice. Okay.
They're doing a new voiceover, and this is great. It's a great example of, and I just make the mistake often, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody about it, a stranger at a grocery store who was mentioning something about Dragon Age, and I said, "Oh, did you know that Erika Ishii is good?" Thing, and I said she's doing one of the voices, and then I said they're doing one of the voices, them.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no way for me to prove this, but I got the impression that they thought that I was doing one of those them things that people who don't agree with pronouns do.
Yeah, you were commenting on it.
I was upset that I messed up. I was like, what? I mean they them. So I realized that it really is unintentional, but something like that being unintentional is not an excuse. And this is the other thing. When you say it's not an excuse, it is an excuse. I am saying it to let you know that I did it on accident, but it doesn't. It's an excuse, but it does not excuse, if that makes sense. I think the term excuse these days doesn't mean that you're getting away with it.
Well,
giving an excuse doesn't mean that.
The problem is you then turn it into a thing. Like when you start apologizing or acknowledging that you've done something wrong, you've made it about you. You've turned it into a thing. What I've been told is if you screw up and you self-correct. She's doing this thing. They're doing this thing, and move on. If somebody corrects you, then then correct your language, learn, and move on. But if you start like profusely apologizing and making it into a thing, that's even worse.
Okay. So what I'm doing right now is bringing up a thing that happened that I didn't even need to tell anybody about. So
you're making it about you, Paul. It's not all about you.
But I did do it again the second time when I brought it up to you. So really,
I
who's to blame?
I mean,
don't.
I mean, the reason I'm saying that is because I've done that so many times, and I've not been like, I've been here. Let me put it this way: I have been gently instructed
Yes.
when I get mad at myself for making a mistake and letting the other people know that's maybe not the right course of action.
I like it. I like not getting mad at myself. That would be wonderful.
No,
And
you can still be mad at yourself, just don't be outwardly mad at yourself. Keep
mm,
that anger bottled up inside, Paul Goody.
yeah, because I would say that. I mean, and this might not even be the reason, but one of the reasons why you wouldn't want to do that is that all of a sudden you're making that. I mean, in a way, you're making that person responsible for your discomfort,
Yes, exactly.
and the tone did not need to go there. So good to know. Good to know. Um, so Betty has switched medications. Uh, do you remember when I was taking Adderall?
You've done so many things in our 20 plus year history, Paul, I can't possibly keep up.
Do you remember the time when I was making those big giant duct tape balls? I just had
I
rolls
think
of duct tape with me,
I think
and I
so.
was
Yeah.
yeah. So that was when I was on Adderall.
Okay.
There was also a time when I was on Strattera, which wasn't bad, but my insurance company stopped paying for it. This is when I was working for Amazon. The insurance company wouldn't pay for it anymore because there was a possibility of liver problems, and so I didn't. So anyway, she got switched to it, um, and it's one of those things where, like,
Wait,
when you're
wait, wait, wait.
coming,
Back up. You said she got switched to. So Betty's now taking this new medication?
Betty's taking Strattera now,
Okay.
which is one that. So I went the opposite way. I started with Strattera. It was doing well, and then they switched me to Adderall
Okay.
because Strattera was no longer available, and Adderall was just kind of a nightmare for everyone except me. When I was on Adderall, I was like, "This is great. I'm the best. Everyone else is bad. None of them are as smart as me. This is annoying.
And
Everything's moving too slow.
this is ADHD
Let's
medication?
Yeah, yeah. So, and it just turned me into a jerk. It maybe helped
Oh,
with.
yeah, I remember that time.
It
I'm
was.
kidding.
It was. I mean, I think that was when I got pickpocketed on the bus as
Ah,
well.
yeah.
Wait,
That
no, that can't be
can't have
right.
been
That
fun.
can't be right.
I don't know.
No, no, no. Because when I got pickpocketed on the bus. It was when I got pickpocketed on the bus when I was living in the Highland Park area, near White Center.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So on the bus home to Highland
I
Park?
remember it because you no, it was actually I was riding on the bus with you, and the bus stopped, and a whole bunch of people like slammed into us. We were standing up,
Yeah.
and yeah, they took my wallet, and then they sent it back to me, and they wrote a note saying how annoying it was to track me down to send me my wallet back. And I think it was like a scam sort of thing. Like maybe I would have go like, oh, they didn't say that they stole my wallet.
Right.
They just said that they found my wallet, and it was really a big hassle getting it back to me. I'd already canceled everything and all that.
A,
Um,
maybe not a good Samaritan, but an honest Samaritan.
when I was at the Marwood, somebody found my wallet and returned it to me. And then they kept on showing up asking for more money.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, let me ask you a question. I had a bus pass in my wallet, and it was no longer in there when you gave it back to me. Can you help me find my bus pass? And then they stopped coming by.
Good tech.
But yeah, I mean, and it was true. That was the other thing, is it was all true. I feel as though there are like there was a guy who was like, he was trying to get something for his car, something fixed for his car, and he needed $8.
Yeah.
And I had $10, so I gave him $10. And people like, always asking whenever that kind of thing happens, um, how do you know that that's going to happen? How do you know that's what they wanted for? I never care about what their story is. I never care about and this is, for panhandlers who want to meet with me later, I don't care what the issue is. What I care about is how much they're asking for, and then I think about how much that would put me out if I gave them what they were asking for.
Yeah.
And if it wouldn't put me out, I usually give it to them. And if it would put me out, I usually say I don't have that much, etc.
Well, then what do you have?
Exactly. I have a wife.
There's a
and a child.
There's a.
Oh, except, and that's weird.
I can't give you them.
I guess Betty is still will always still be my child, but I can't say a child anymore.
Correct.
So I have a wife and this other thing, which is real difficult to explain.
Offspring.
It's a person, but like smaller than me. Lives in my house. Has half of my genetic material. It's a word, that kind of thing. It's possible. And a dog and a cat. Oh, the cat. She's getting old, Ben.
Abby cat.
Is getting
old. I mean, Abby's been around since you were. Is that right? You had Abby here in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
That's been about 10 years now, like in a couple months.
Yeah, and we've had her for quite some time. She is getting nice, which is a problem apparently with that.
She's getting nice. Oh, right, because okay. We had a cat, Merlin, who famously was a jerk. He actually, I looked recently. I couldn't see them anymore, but he scratched me, and I had these claw mark scars on my cheek for like it's been about 30 years now. Because I was about 18. I was about 17 or 18 when he did that. Anyway, hated the dogs. We had 2 poodles at the time. Hated the poodles. But in the last,
are they small poodles or regular size poodles?
Not standard. They were. I can't remember. There's teacup and there's toy. Yeah. And one of them is like, I think teacup is like the super tiny one. These are the toy, regular.
Yeah.
About the size of a Shih Tzu. And like in the past, in his last, I want to say it was longer than like about 2.5 years. He would cozy up to them. Like they would all sleep on the couch in like a big pile. And like my mom, I wasn't living at home at the time. My mom would send me pictures of Merlin snuggled up to the poodles, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, never thinking. I mean, I just thought, he's getting old. I knew he was an old cat, so he's just kind of like, he's in his, I'm gonna swear here, fuck it stage.
In his bucket stage, everybody. Yeah, it is nice that we make an effort not to swear, even though there's no one to be offended.
No one will be offended. I mean, like, there are many reasons why we try to keep it clean. I think at one point it was because Betty was a child and like might be listening. But whenever I put something on the internet, I always ask myself, if my mom sees this, how will she react?
And I try not to swear in general too. Jennifer says I sound funny when I do it. I mean, I was a kid where highly religious household. If someone swore around me, I would get scared. I actually would have a problem with it. So how the tides have turned, Ben. It's not the same anymore.
It's interesting because like every podcast I've ever done, like as a regular, it's always been kept clean. I've never swore. I'm a potty mouth. I swear constantly.
really, Ben?
In the proper moments, right? If I'm
Yeah.
if I'm at work, if I'm on a Zoom
Well,
call with
you
somebody.
did just swear on this podcast, so
I did. I did give
you
half a second warning too before I did.
did you timestamp it for yourself?
I
Or
did.
you gotta
I
bleep
wrote
it
it. I
out?
wrote it. It's one of the things that I
Yeah,
write in the
okay.
show notes. Is I write down when I have to bleep something, and then I delete it from the show notes.
Oh, hey, let me show you this. By the way, these right here, Ben,
Parmesan flavored goldfish.
my favorite goldfish.
Yeah.
I talked about it to somebody, and
That sounds like a
Oh!
1950s sitcom.
my favorite goldfish.
My mother, the car, my three sons, my favorite goldfish. Tonight on ABC.
So here's the thing, Ben. We've talked about this a little bit, but it's coming true.
I think that coffee's hitting.
My D&D game
Yes.
on Sunday canceled because Brad, one of our players,
Has
got
COVID. Yep. Called it.
My Tai Chi class, one of the instructors
Got COVID.
got COVID. And here's the thing. He got COVID. They traced it back.
To
It was
Wuhan.
at a old folks facility that he went to that Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Those are breeding grounds.
we have our classes on Wednesday. So this is how it worked. Went to that place on Saturday. Had class on Wednesday with all of us.
You were there.
Yeah. Thursday felt really horrible.
Yeah.
Took a test, found out he had COVID. So we all come in on last Wednesday, or this Wednesday, and there's an announcement made about this. Nurse who's in the class says, "Okay, look, if it's it's a week later now. You guys don't feel bad. Chances are you're going to be okay. But you should all still wear masks for the next 5 days. Because you might be communicating it."
Smart call.
Everyone's like, she has a mask. And she puts it on. And she has one friend who has a mask. Everyone's like, well, we don't have masks. So Jennifer leaves the class, comes back to our house.
Oh, I didn't know
grabs
Jennifer
a
took a
box
class
of-
with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking the class with Jennifer. Really.
Okay. Ah, okay.
But, 60 masks in a box that we have here. Brought it in. I put one on, she puts one on. Nobody else in the class. Not the instructors, not any of the students.
Yeah.
Put them on. And we leave, and I take the box with me because I'm like, I leave like 3 masks.
Yeah. You don't
Somebody
deserve
that-
these.
Well,
It's-
you're not gonna. I'm not gonna leave a box of masks somewhere where no one's gonna use them.
Right. It is. That's what I hear. There's a surge happening, and I'm seeing it on social media. I'm seeing people getting hit for the first time, but I am not seeing anybody in the community adapting to that. I'm not seeing more masks in the grocery stores. I'm not seeing more masks on public transportation. I'm not
Do
seeing
people
any
wear
masks.
masks at your grocery? Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Of,
Nobody uses
like
masks around here.
maybe 2 or 3 people that I see on like a run through the grocery store. Hey, I sent you the numbers at the show.
Yeah.
Did you get those? And
I did get
there's
those.
also there's an episode that we have 386 that has our view count kind of tops out around like 45, 50 per episode, but episode 386 has over 1,000. And I have no earthly idea why. The YouTube stream doesn't have that much, so it's not like it's not like something
The only
happened
thing that
with that.
stood out, Tyree Henry. What's his first name?
Brian.
Brian Tyree Henry was the only thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, so if somebody Googled him, like why would they land on our podcast for some reason? Unless it was Brian Tyree Henry himself and he was just Googling himself and found us
Every day.
Because I'm sure we said something very nice about him and he sent it to all of his friends.
Maybe so. Maybe that would be nice.
I'm
I
gonna
would like that.
I'm gonna write that in the show notes. Brian Tyree Henry is the best.
He is. Oh my God. What
Should
a
be in more things.
You really should. Hey, in fact, let's make this real. Let's look up what he's going to be in next.
I
He's
think
great.
we were talking about him either because we had just watched the Atlanta finale or Bullet Train, because he was also in Bullet Train around the same time.
It might have been that. It might have been that episode because I remember talking a lot about that episode that was pretty much just him.
Oh yeah. Where he was on the farm.
Yeah, that might have been it.
With the cast iron pan delivery.
Okay, so it looks like he's got 5 upcoming projects. The Fire Inside, he plays Jason Crutchfield. A story of Clarissa T-Rex Shields, a boxer from Flint, Michigan, who trained to become the first woman in her country's history to win an Olympic gold medal in the sport. Just a reminder, Flint still does not have clean water, as far as we know. Transformers 1. Oh, I just saw a trailer for this. Not something I'm interested in. But he plays Megatron in Transformers. That's a pretty big thing.
Megatron?
Yeah. Megatron. That guy.
I know who Megatron is, but Megatron has like a very heavily affected voice, and I actually don't know what he's normally sounds like in the movies. All I can hear is his cartoon voice.
This is the thing: is that Transformers 1. I know too much about Transformers 1. It's kind of crazy, but Transformers 1 is like an origin story for the Transformers.
Okay.
And Optimus Prime and Megatron are like friends and normal sounding dudes. They don't have like robotic voices.
And Optimus Prime is just a pickup truck, and Megatron is a pop gun.
They don't transform right away. That's part of the thing. So, Sinking Spring is a TV series. Follows longtime friends and delinquents who pose as DEA agents to rob a house in the countryside, but end up unintentionally unraveling the biggest hidden narcotics corridor on the eastern seaboard. Ving Rhames is in it too.
Ah, Ving Rhames.
A bunch of people are in it. It's a TV series. Sinking Spring, in production. There's a thing called Atlantis, a musical inspired by Pharrell Williams' childhood in Virginia Beach.
Pharrell.
And then Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. He's in it as someone named Jefferson Davis.
Is he not the dad? He can't be the dad. Is he Miles Morales' dad? I thought that was his voice.
I don't know. Jefferson Davis is who he's listed as. Let's see. He is in the other one too. Let's see. What else is he? I'm just looking now. He's also producing some things. He's producing Sinking Spring. That sounds like it's going to be pretty good. I think that's good enough to justify the show notes, Ben.
Nope. Oh yeah, that is the dad.
Oh, he's the dad.
Wait.
Okay.
No, there's a Jefferson Wait. There's a Jefferson yeah. Jefferson Davis, Jefferson Morales. Yeah, that's him. He's totally the dad. He's Miles Morales' dad.
Does it say Jefferson Davis, Jefferson Morales, or is it?
You know what? I looked. I just did a Google search for Spider-Man Jefferson Davis, and then did an image search, and it had both names under the same picture on 2 different sites.
Huh. Interesting.
And and the character looks like The Rock. You almost expect
but
it to
it's
be The
not.
Rock, but it's not. It's Brian Tyree Henry.
Okay, so let's see. A couple of things that we can go on about. For those of you listening from the future, again, this podcast is designed to be listened to people or be listened to by people 200 years in the future,
Or
or a
any
couple
length
hundred
of
years.
time in the future.
Yeah. If you're interested in the 21st century, this is just what it's like for two people from the 21st century to talk to one another. Occasionally, have guests, but the Biden Harris administration became the Harris administration. Now is the Harris Walsh administration.
I don't think we've talked about that. The because I think that happened.
So it happened
That
in
happened
between
on
episodes.
that happened on Tuesday. So yeah, Kamala Harris picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and it's pronounced Walls, like doors and walls and floors and ceiling.
Okay, sorry guys.
Not waltz like
I
the
was
dance.
just thinking of Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Spelled differently also.
No, it's waltz.
And pronounced differently than how I
it's
said
walls, like balls to the walls.
it. Walls.
Who is basically America's dad at this point. He's
Yeah.
like dyed in the wool Midwesterner. I'm happy about that pick. It was coming down to three people: Pennsylvania Governor Joe Shapiro, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Pete Buttigieg was also in the mix, but I don't think he was in the final three. And yeah, the more I read about, I think Shapiro had a lot of baggage that during the vetting process they probably stayed away from. Walz, basically, no skeletons in his closet. He's very wholesome.
He had a DUI, and then he joined the military right after that, from what I understand.
I have not heard of the DUI. I've not heard of the DUI.
I've heard about it because so many people are talking about it.
I mean, if that's the worst thing they have on you, like you were caught having one too many beers when you were 17.
When they tried to say that he got out of the military before he went to Iraq,
that was
like on purpose.
That was JD Vance's big talking point about him, calling him stolen glory. Is that what it was? Was that what he called it?
Stolen valor.
Stolen valor. Sure. That's it.
But he started. I mean, this is the whole. The thing of stolen valor. It's a real fear that you have. You know, am I trying to say that I'm more in the military than I am? Part of the reason why I don't like try to get VA stuff or whatever. I was in the Air Force. I was only in for 1 year, which isn't really. I mean, I did stuff, but I didn't do as much as everybody else, or as much as most people, I would say. So his idea was, that he abandoned his post or whatever before this thing happened.
Yeah.
Fact is, you have to apply for your retirement way in advance. So he had already applied for his retirement. And then after he retired, then his unit was told that they might go to Iraq.
Yeah.
But he was already not in that unit. So that's one of those things.
But the Republicans will never focus on the details, will they?
Well,
there's a great contrast. You've probably seen these photos juxtaposed against one another where Governor Walz signed a bill that enabled free school lunches for students in his state. And at the bill signing, like, he's got this big smile on his face. All the kids are hugging him. All the, the big smiles on the children's faces. It's a very happy photo. And then they have that next to a photo of Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of Arkansas, who had just signed a law lowering the age a child can legally work. If you want to say she re-enabled child labor in Arkansas, and so she's holding up the bill that she just signed. There's 3 kids behind them, and they're all stone faced. They're almost they look sad in some way. Thanks to the Kuleshov effect, because you're looking at this picture going, child labor is now legal again in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Call back to last week's episode.
Yeah. So here's the thing that, for those of you who aren't familiar, there's a Midwestern dad archetype that is prevalent right now, of sort of a salt of the earth kind of, roll up your sleeves, get something done,
tell you how to fix your car.
Guy. Yeah, and so there are lots of memes going around where people are comparing Walls to a guy like this, because he is a guy like this. He comes off as being very genuine, and one of the things was Waltz 100% forgets his keys and then comes back and says, "Wouldn't have gotten very far without these." Stuff like that, just little dadisms. And so everyone's pretty excited about it. Now here's the thing that I want to bring up, Ben.
Yes, Paul.
What I feel might be, those of you on the stream, Ben and I are getting closer and closer to the camera. He did a thing where he said, I can't wait to debate him, meaning JD Vance.
Yeah.
As long as he can get up, as long as he can get off the couch.
He referenced the couch meme.
And then at the end he said, "You see what I did there?"
He did. He called out. He called it out.
And so now some people are saying that this is, a sign that the left has lost the plot as well, because now they're making jokes about stuff that isn't true, and normally the right lies and things like that, but now the left is doing it, and isn't it bad? And it's one of those things where I think you've heard about this before, but Fox News famously got out of a lawsuit by saying that the people that are on their television programs are entertainers, not journalists, and therefore
none of their viewers can possibly construe what is happening on that channel as news.
And so in this case, it's one of those things of they can't, and when I say they, I mean JD Vance and his folks can't say that people are slandering him unless it is believable that this is something that JD Vance actually did. And so that's what's kind of interesting about this. We don't have people storming into Vance's house to try to save his furniture from his advances. The right has gotten people to take violence against people on the left by spinning yarns of things that are not happening.
Absolutely.
So this sort of light version of that is, in my opinion, not as bad.
No, and it's also it's couched in a way that yeah, I know. It's the word that came to my brain and I said it. It's what Walls said.
I keep showing the chat the food that I'm eating, by the way.
What Walls said can be innocently construed. If he didn't reference it at the very end, then you could conceivably say what he said was a very reasonable thing, right?
Like implying that Vance is lazy.
Could not, by any by any reasonable person listening who is like not connected to the internet doesn't mean anything other than JD Vance is at home. He needs to come to the debate.
In fact, famously at that time anyway, Donald Trump had bowed out of a debate that he had
Yeah.
previously agreed to.
And it's not
because
just
he had agreed
it's not just he's bowed out of the debate. He's also
ban.
not campaigning. He's just at home.
So, casting, kind of sins of the father to the children, whatever, etc. Talking about that campaign in general.
Yeah.
There was something that happened today that I don't fully understand. This is going to be Ben's going to get some news, sort of. We've all had our fun talking about couches and things, but what was the weird thing that Vance did recently that got into the news?
You're going to have to be more specific. All right, so there's a laundry list of weird things. Recently.
There's one I'm thinking about. This is not so much a quiz as a Bilbo Baggins to Gollum, what do I have in my pocket? I'm thinking of a thing. I want you to name stuff until you hit the thing.
A reporter asked him, "What makes you smile?" And he gave an odd answer. Is that what you're thinking?
No. What was the answer though that he gave?
It was something to the like, what makes me smile or what makes me happy are the fake questions given to me by the media. Or it was a very like I was watching a commentator online. I think it's like from the Bulwark or something, and he's like, the easy answer is my children, my family make me happy. But instead, he turns it into the fake news, trying to stay on a certain talking point, which is just ultimately weird.
He's trying to be Russell Brand in an age where Russell Brand is not doing that well himself.
No, like mentally. I mean, that guy needs to seek some therapy. What else was it? He showed his viewers on whatever social media the backstage snacks at a rally. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
What are those snacks, Ben?
What kind of candies? Just like candies and chocolates, and nothing very healthy.
Kind bars.
Does it have anything to do with accusations that he wears an eyeliner?
No. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint.
Give me a hint.
Air Force 2.
Okay, so Kamala. So he's. I think the word for this. I can't remember the exact word for this, but there is a word for this where he's actually following the Harris Walls campaign around and doing events in the same city. So they're
stalking. It's called stalking. But no,
There's a political.
That was the term that somebody used, but
There's a political term for that. So there are a bunch of reporters on the tarmac after the Harris plane lands. He and his crew have landed. JD Vance walks over to this group of reporters and says something like, hopefully that will be talking about Air Force 2, hopefully that will be my plane someday. And then runs away once Kamala Harris starts showing up.
Apparently, the thing that somebody said that he actually wanted to, quote unquote, inspect it. I don't know if that's true or not.
Like he wanted to go inside?
I mean, but here's the thing, right? Do we know that's true? No. And can I say that that's what it was? No. And,
terrible joke coming up. I hear the couches on there are very nice.
This is the thing, is that what everybody, that is Ben. That was what I was going to say. There's nothing that he can do now.
Can't get away from it.
Hopefully that will be my plane. And it's going to be studied. It is going to be studied. Because, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to, like I said, is the yeah, that happened with can't
Howard
think of his
Dean?
name. Howard Dean. Howard Dean's yeah.
Yeah.
Dukakis in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah!
And Dan Quayle with the potato thing. Like,
Quell was already vice
but,
president at that point, though. I mean, the other ones were campaign blunders.
but those three things, right?
Yeah.
The potato thing, those were all things that happened. Like, we actually saw them do it. But I've mentioned this before. I'll say it again. I was worried at one point in time that the election wouldn't go well because of AI. That AI would. This is something that everyone knows. You don't need to see a fake picture of it and say, "Oh yeah, I believe that." Everyone knows that it's amazing. Everyone knows that it's fake, but there's still it's kayfabe, is what it is. It's wrestling. We're all gonna pretend like this is true, even though we know it is.
Because you know what? It's innocuous and it's fun. It's not like he was. It's not like he was. Like people say, he was inappropriate with a 12-year-old, right? It's a piece of furniture. There's literally no harm in talking about it, aside from making fun of this ultimately weird dude. And I hate that that's the word of the week, but there's no other word for it.
Yeah, there's a thing that happened. I think I've mentioned this to you before. When I went to a parochial school, and there was a kid who got bullied at that parochial school by another kid, and what the kid said was, "You love your mom."
Burn.
And it wasn't. Yeah. That's the thing, is that, and the kid was crying, and he was like, "I do."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you do."
Kids don't understand.
And it wasn't. It wasn't a naughty thing at all. It was the idea that he was weak because he had love for his mother.
Right.
That was what, and I mean, to tears he couldn't, and so, anyone else could pile on by saying anything about him and his mom, and they did. I didn't, because I had my own problems. But so this is one of those things of, like, he got the "you love your mom" sort of thing, where this is going to last for a long time, and people are going to try to do it for other politicians. I don't know if it's ever going to work as well as it did, at this point.
I think it's going to strike once.
But yeah, I don't know. Oh, hey, while we're here, I want to show you my outfit. I was going to get multiple ones of these, but now I'm not going to, because I have another outfit, my new outfit.
It's a very colorful shirt.
Yeah, Ben, it's not just a shirt, my friend.
Is it a onesie?
It's a onesie.
All right, is it really a onesie, or is it just a matching shirt shorts pair?
Yeah, it's a onesie. It's a jumpsuit.
Nice.
But here's the thing. I'm going full on with being a big boy. I've decided, Ben.
It is Fat Boy
we talked
Summer.
about this already.
Still Fat Boy Summer.
It is still Fat Boy Summer. Oh, although I got rid of the music app. I don't use it anymore. Yeah, music app.
Oh,
and the reason is,
you were having a lot of fun with that too.
So I was having a lot of fun with it, but I thought about the Half Brothers is what I did. I was like, the Half Brothers did one of my songs. I wrote the song called "Drive Towards the Lights." They did a version of it, and it's great, right?
It's a good song.
And I wrote this other song called "Gravy Boy." I was like, oh, this would be great if they would do it. And I thought about going to them and saying, hey, look at this song that I made. I'd like you guys to do a cover of it. And it being an AI generated song. And what that would say to them about, how I feel about them, etc. You know, it didn't seem. It seemed like it would be rude. Is the only way I can say it. Like
Right.
I would have to explain. I wrote the lyrics to the song. I had a computer come up with the music for it, etc. Now I would like you know,
I
it's one
want
of those
you
things
to
where
cover this song that I've already produced with AI.
right, exactly, didn't sound good. And I thought back to this guy that I knew um, in college who was a member of Saint Monday with Troy. Troy Lund had a band called Saint Monday.
Yeah.
And his name was Shane. And Shane was playing a thing on his bass. And I said to Troy, "Oh, we could loop that and do something with it." And Shane was like, "I'm right here. I could just play this. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same sort of thing. And so I'm starting to feel like that me, Paul, I should do stuff with physical things. That maybe is where I'm going to
It's
be different.
you know, it's a lot more satisfying, and I'm speaking as not a musician.
Right.
I've done a lot of music with looping and music generated apps, right? I got really big
Yeah.
into it like when I got my first laptop and I had GarageBand. I would make songs, blah blah blah, whatever. In the What the Funny days, I to put together like a temporary music track. I recorded myself playing a bass, very simple like progression. I recorded myself playing my drums, and I recorded myself playing the guitar, and I made like a 30-second little stinger, and it's in my iTunes. And every time my iTunes pulls up that little tiny song, I get so happy because I listen to it go, I made that. I played all the
Yeah.
instruments. I wrote the music. I didn't write music, but like I came up with the melody, and I get so happy when I hear it. When one of the other like electronic songs I've made comes on, I don't care about it. It's just
Yeah.
something.
Like I said, the music app was a big deal because I could write lyrics and then the songs would come up and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Right. Um, but and this is the only way I can say it, no one really cares. And it's the same thing with AI art and the same thing with dreams, telling people about dreams that you've had. All of these things are very similar. It's the idea that if I can do it, right? So I have like these 20 songs and they're all really great, you know, but if you can make songs that are just as great, but songs that you made that you like, what do you want to listen to my 20 songs for? You really don't.
Yeah.
That's the big thing is that in the AI thing, there's not as much of a I want to say not as much of a community. There is a community of AI people, right? Of AI, like people who like AI stuff. But
Always will be.
most of them are generating stuff for themselves. And if somebody sees what you've done, they're like, "Oh, how can I do that? What did you use, etc." And then they'll go off and make their own thing off of it. So it's everybody. It's all creators, not a lot of consumers, not a lot of people saying, "Hey, I saw that thing that you made,
There's
and I really
supply,
like
there's
it."
no demand.
Exactly. Oh, Ben, yes, all supply, no demand is exactly right.
Yep.
Um, which then becomes a little bit more isolating, etc. You know what can't be done with AI, Ben, and maybe will never be able to be done with AI?
What's that, Paul?
Live theater, right? I mean,
It's creeping
you have
in.
to have
We had
you have to have robots.
a live theater show. It's not going to replace the actors, but our sound
Yeah.
designer for the last show used AI song generating software to make the music.
And that does not, I mean, you still, this is what I'm saying. Script written by AI. Set designed by AI.
Built by people.
Built by people, right? Or you get a robot to build it. Okay, whatever.
Sure, why not? 3D print, that's it.
AI does the all the different lighting cues. Lighting cues by AI.
AI designs your lights. AI is actually now your stage manager because it can hear what's happening on stage and it knows the script.
Yeah. The actors headphone, like line one, speaking your lines to you in your ear so that you say it, right? And then what? No audience, just an AI that evaluates how well you did. I mean, is that it? Have we figured it out?
We can only hope that that's our future.
And with that, Ben.
And with that, Ben.
And with that, Ben.
Can't get him off the couch.
We are. Yep. There you go. We did it. Congratulations. And now,
the rest
until next week, Ben, I'm going to ask you to keep it wrong.
Keep it wrong, Paul. Good talking to you, and I'll talk to you next week.